You poor little puppy. Oh my goodness, you poor little puppy. Here's some begging strips.
Whoa!
Now, this is one of these conversations that we're going to have today where I actually do have a soft spot in my heart for people just when they're talking off the cuff, where they're doing interviews, there's no more context, just their own thoughts. But Jesse Eisenberg has come to the table and said how he thought that his portrayal of Lex Luthor in the Snyderverse has hurt his career. Obviously, this is coming out with the advent of James Gunn's Superman. So let's talk about it. So he thinks that playing Lex Luthor hurt his career. Only this. I could point out so many other reasons why, but I want to let him talk first, and then I will talk about what I think about Jesse Eisenberg. Yes, he did do the long-haired version of Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman and in Justice League. And because we got the new Superman trailer today, and Nicholas Hoult has taken over as Lex Luthor in this new DC universe, he is lamenting his own stint as a supervillain and saying that, yeah, it was poorly received. Now, is he talking about his performance or is he talking about the movie? Because the way that he words it is that he's talking about the movies and that how that hurt his career. I also don't think his performance was very good. But anyway, I was in this Batman movie, and the Batman movie was so poorly received, and I was so poorly received, he said on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast. I've never said this before, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I genuinely think it actually hurt my career in a real way because I was poorly received in something so public. All right, this is absolute freaking cope. This is cope. This is huffing copium right now. You're basically freebasing copium with this. How did this hurt your career? You were typecast as a neurotic person. Everything that you were good in, everything that you were bad in, everything that you were in, you've always played the same character. I don't really see much nuance to the way that this guy acts. He's pretty much the same person and everything slapped on with a new moniker for that character's name. That's the only thing that I've seen out of him. I would love for him to prove me wrong, but his delivery, his facial tics, the way that he approaches scenes and dialogue in everything that he's been in, and he's been in some great stuff. Obviously, we've got Zombieland, we've got Now You See Me, which is very divisive, but at least it's fun. Yeah, you could pick it apart. You could pick it apart to shreds, but it's a fun movie to go see. You're good in that. And this is what it all boils down to. This is what it's starting to boil down to me, is that he doesn't play characters, he plays himself, and himself is injected into that character, which means that you are typecast in certain things, which means that your career can have ebbs and flows. They will definitely, like, you can reach a peak, but there are certain people that you won't see in certain roles. You may aspire to play certain roles, but specifically because of your acting ability or your looks, or let's go even so far into like your color, your demographics, and everything like that. There are certain things that will cut you off from certain roles, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, you have spent your career and your height playing the exact same thing. Therefore, why are you upset about this? They want to go in a new direction with Lex Luthor. Why are you upset about it? Now, just to let him have a little bit of rebuttal to everything that I just said, he does say that I've been in poorly received things that just don't see the light of day, and for the most part, nobody knows. So, oh my goodness, this is like one of those things where, so if people did know about it, you would be more upset about it, but because it was swept under the rug, because nobody ever saw it that way. I mean, therefore, you don't give a crap that your part was shit. This was so public, and I don't read notices, reviews, or movie press or anything, so I was unaware of how poorly it was received. I highly doubt it, because if you're in the industry, you know the buzz of the town. You absolutely are aware of it. Whether or not you choose to pay to the minutia of those details, the comments, the chats, the like all the YouTube videos, all of the articles that are put out by all of these websites and companies. You can choose not to look at their take on you, but you are aware of it. You're definitely aware of the box office. Come on, man. Now, it does say that regardless of the DC movie's impact on his career, which it didn't have an impact on his career, everyone was weirded out. I can't say everyone, but a lot of us were just like, that's your pick for Lex Luthor? That's a horrible casting choice. I don't agree with that. And guess what? The fans turned out to be right. It was not a good casting choice. But he has appeared to have bounced back, recently securing 2 Golden Globe nominations for his film A Real Pain, including Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Best Screenplay. So maybe he took a step back from playing himself or playing the same tired, regurgitated version of himself and went back to doing something that's actually getting Oscar nomination, which is good, or Golden Globe nomination, one of the award seasons thing. But here's the kicker. He has not, in his own words, said that if they offered him a role in the DC or any of these comic book movies again, if he was offered a role, he's like, it'd be a pleasant shock, which means, oh yeah, he'd definitely do it again because he would take the money, which is, I think, what he was doing the entire time. And I think he like meteorically went into where he was in so many things all at once, got used to it, played the same character, stopped putting an effort into anything other than memorizing his lines and talking really fast. And then whenever those opportunities just completely fell off the cliff, yeah, I would definitely go back for that. I need a paycheck. That's what it seems like to me. It might not necessarily be, but he does go on to say, listen, I'm not a comic book fan, and that's totally fine too. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I myself did not grow up reading comics. I grew up watching movies. I grew up making movies too, but I'm starting to get more into comics more. Rippaverse has really helped me with that, actually getting me interested in this stuff, but you don't have to do that in order to work on a project. You just have to have the intention and the people around you. It really falls more on the directors, the writers, the producers to know the kind of content that they're creating, and you as the actor need to be sold on their vision. Therefore you can give that vision to other people, especially when you are the person that's going to be doing all these interviews and talking to the fans, and everyone's going to clip that out. You need to at least know what you're talking about when you're doing that. It was not a role that he had a vision since childhood. To me, it was a chance to play this great character, this great writer note, and I loved doing that. I don't think the writer wrote it very well at all, but that's subjective. So to play it as a joy and to not play it isn't something that I'm going to be ashamed to tell my kids about, because that is not an important genre in my life, even though I love doing the movie. So basically, he's open for anything, and I don't want to shit on the guy too much. I really don't. I'm not here to take a crap on Jesse Eisenberg. There are things that I've liked him in, there are things that I've found him very irritating in, and there's things that I just don't give a crap about that he's been in. Obviously, he made his splash. I think the biggest splash was The Social Network, where he played the young Facebook alien, but blaming or seeming to blame his version of Lex Luthor in the Snyderverse version of the DC Comics BVS and Justice League just seems a little bit out of pocket, seems a little off kilter. Now, I know he was just doing a podcast, so I can give him a little bit of leeway with this. However, you're on the internet, man. You're a you're a public person, you're a public persona, you're a public figure, and you're doing something publicly. So you know this is going to come out, and you know there's going to be speculation that comes along with it. So we have to hold your feet to the fire. This was not what ruined your career. I would even go so far as to argue that your career is not ruined. So why are you even bringing it up in the first place? But if you guys have anything else to say about it, I think Nicholas Holt actually is a good actor. I've seen him in so many things. He's played so many stuff. And what? All right, one little last thing before I say goodbye. So Nicholas Holt was actually Nux in Mad Max Fury Road. So I wonder if he was cast because they know he can pull off the bald look. Just a little thought. That's just something that crossed my head. But if there's anything that crossed across your head, go ahead down in the comment section below. If you like what you see, please sub to the channel, hit it a like. It doesn't cost you anything. And we can hang out a lot more late in game with the GCA on Wednesday evenings, off the hip with Alec Baldwin's Finger on Monday night. And y'all have a great evening.